The Chicago Bulls went ahead and signed Terry Taylor to the final roster spot. But there's still one problem that persists among this team. Y'all already know I'm going to talk about it, but you got to hear the music first. Cognac. Gang. Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Now, look, the Chicago Bulls, for that 15th roster spot, went ahead and signed Terry Taylor. We know the 14th spot is currently held by Carlik Jones. His contract is still non-guaranteed until, I believe, January of 24. But as of right now, the roster is what it is. But there is still one problem, in my opinion, that I still see what's going on with this team, and that is size. I do believe that the Chicago Bulls went out there and they tried their best to go ahead and address the three-point shooting the three-point shooting issues that we had this past season. They went out there and they added Javon Carter, a guy that can shoot as a point guard. They went out there and added Torrey Craig, who's a legit 3-and-D guy. And then you went ahead and you brought in player development coach Peter Patton. So you hope that with all those additions and with the addition of a shooting coach, that the Chicago Bulls somehow, some way can go ahead and add three-point shooting. But I think that the problem still remains the same, that the Bulls did not add solid front court depth. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I'm looking at it. I mean, I understand the idea of keeping Andre Drummond around and still running with Nikola Vucevic, but there is still no size coming in behind Patrick Williams at the power forward position. I mean, because if you're looking at the heights of these guys, you're looking at guys that nobody really is scratching the surface of a 6'10", other than the guys previously mentioned, and Nikola Vucevic and Andre Drummond. Terry Taylor, 6'5". I understand he comes in with a lot of energy. He comes in with a lot of things that he can go ahead and provide to the team. You know what I'm saying? As far as energy-wise, but it's still a big question mark for me on what his impact will be for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, if you look at some other guys that is around Patrick Williams' height or maybe a little bit taller, you got Dalen Terry, who's 6'7", like a Patrick Williams, but you don't see this guy going there and playing the 4. You got Julian Phillips, who's 6'8". I mean, but still a young guy, a rookie. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the intentions will be when it comes to him. So there's still some questions. You got a guy that's a little bit more bigger than a Patrick Williams and just a bit taller than Julian Phillips and Amada Sanogo, but he's a two-way player and will spend most of his time down there in the G League. You know what I'm saying? You got Torrey Craig, 6'7", Dalen Terry, 6'7", as previously mentioned, and it still remains a problem, in my opinion, when it comes down to that size. Now, I'm not saying that these guys can't come together and be solid rebounders collectively as a team, but when you're going up against some of those taller teams who might bring out, some bigger guys, maybe a Denver Nuggets, maybe, a 76er squad. I understand it might not be a lot of teams, within that. But even if you're looking at some of the teams in the Eastern Conference, like the Boston Celtics, they can go ahead and trot out Kristaps Porzingis alongside Time Lord, one guy that's going to stretch the floor, and then one guy that's going to be in the paint. You know what I'm saying? So you need creativity within this roster, and right now it's just kind of seem like they just piecing a bunch of pieces together. Like, I understand that you want to be more athletic, and you absolutely have that, but you still lack size in many areas to where I think it's going to be useful to where these guys can go out and play. We know that Patrick Williams will be slotted at the 4 spot, though some will argue he deserves to be at that 3 spot. Patrick Williams only averages 4 rebounds a game. Me personally, I want to see my guy take a step forward and add on 3 more, give me about 7-8 rebounds per game. But that's going to be all dependent on Patrick Williams for sure. It's going to come down to him, because if we're looking at the stats last season, the Chicago Bulls, they ranked at the bottom of the league when it comes down to rebounding. And I'm not saying that's the only thing that can change the game, but there were several games to it. We came in and we looked at the offensive rebounding and was like, golly, can these guys get a rebound and stop giving up offensive rebounds in timely moments against the opposing team? So that's what it still remains for me. And I hope that we come to some type of terms or some type of agreement to figure this whole thing out. And honestly, it was kind of shocking to even see the Chicago Bulls use the last roster spot to sign Terry Taylor, simply because you still got money left on that mid-level exception. You still got the money left over from Lonzo Ball disabled player exception. So you think that the Chicago Bulls will try to make a run at somebody else. I mean, they still can, but as of right now, we don't know. Like, there has been some reports that Christian Woods is still interested in possibly being a Chicago Bull, and probably they do know more than us as of right now. But as of right now, from just looking at the paper, I don't really understand the signing. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I do believe he has a lot of potential, especially with his energy and his athleticism. But it just doesn't move me that much. I still believe that the Bulls are a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. But again, this type of signing, I don't know. It's not really making sense. The math ain't mathing, as some of your young folks say. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it in a way to where I believe that the Bulls are really gonna start trying to harp on and develop young talent now. But I just don't see it with Terry Taylor at this moment, because where is his minutes gonna come from? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna take time or get minutes before Julian Phillips? Is he gonna take time and get minutes before Dalen Terry? What about Ayo Dosunmu? Young guys who we like a little bit more than Terry Taylor, and we want to see before Terry Taylor, and hope that they progress in other areas before we see a Terry Taylor. Now, this thing can all change, you know what I'm saying, based on what he shows in training camp, based on what he shows in preseason, and maybe that can earn him some type of minutes when it comes into something. But the problem is the guy's still short. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to other power forwards or forwards in this league, you know what I'm saying? The guy's 6'5". So it's still a lot to be desired when it comes down to that. So though I'm not 100% mad at the signing, I'm not mad at all, to be honest with you. I'm just not 100% moved by the signing. It could turn out to be something better than what it is, but I know this ship has long sailed, y'all. I really do. I know the ship has long sailed. But if you was going to go back and sign a Terry Taylor, you could have just signed Marko Simonovic, bro. That's my personal opinion. You could have just went ahead and signed a Marko Simonovic, a guy who gave you decent points in the G League and who provide size. I understand it might have not always looked the best. But if we're going to go out and sign a Terry Taylor, I wouldn't have been mad at a signing of Marko Simonovic and give him an opportunity to receive more playing time within the NBA. Now he's not even in the NBA. That could say more so about him and what he brought to the NBA, because nobody picked him up or even brought him back, at least from what it appears to, look like. But at the same time, if you was going to sign Terry Taylor, I wouldn't have been mad if you keeping Marko Simonovic around. That's just a personal opinion. And y'all can go ahead and let me know how y'all feel about all that. I still think the problem still remains the same. The Chicago Bulls still lack size. And to be honest with you, it might come around and bite us in our ass. But, the season has not started yet. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'm still going to believe that this guy might not even see many minutes. It could be nothing. You know what I'm saying? It could be nothing. But I feel like there could have been some other guys that could have been, discussed. It probably has been, but it is what it is. This guy comes in, he receives his contract. I'm not mad at him for getting his money, because, hey, you give me some money signing a contract to play the sport I love, I'm going to sign, whether people agree with it or not. So I can't be mad at Terry Taylor. I just have to question what's the motive from the front office. What are we doing here? At least from that standpoint. But it is a guy that might not see many minutes. So I'm not even too moved about it, not even mad at it. It is what it is. But hey, y'all go ahead and hit the comment box below. Let me know your thoughts on that, and we're going to talk about it down below. It's another episode of Shy Boys Podcast, and y'all already know you can call in and leave a voicemail or a text message at that number, 773-242-9219. It's another episode right here. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Cognac. Gang.